Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon, wherever you are. Okay. So we'll take a few minutes just now to set up all the AI note takers and settings with Google Meet. Give me a quick minute to make sure that everyone is set up and properly installed. Okay, so you should have a chat. There's a chat on the right. You're more than welcome to, of course, communicate. Just want to make sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
It's like a yes. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. I'll give a few minutes for everybody to join in. We'll start at like 05 or something. If you want to mute, please just some housekeeping. I can mute everybody. Ooh, okay, that's easy. Cool. Okay, just giving a few seconds for everybody to join. Thank you very much for being here. Just making sure that everybody is settled. Thank you for joining. I know the time was optimized for the US population. Thank you all for joining from Europe. If you're joining from Europe, I know it can be a bit late over there, but I hope the week started well. And for those who are in the US, thank you for joining instead of going to NAB. That shows a lot of commitment. I appreciate that. No, I'm joking, but great to have you all. Okay, one more minute for everybody to just join in and set up all their note taking and everything. So as a reminder, the talk is recorded. So I will publish the recording afterwards. So just for your information, again, there's a chat on the side. You will have plenty of opportunity of time to ask for questions. So please make a liberal use of the chat. Introduce yourselves. If you want to say hi and where you're from in the chat, that's always a nice icebreaker to do. But anyway, I really appreciate you all coming in. So I'm just waiting for, hey, Manjit. I'm just waiting again for everybody to join in, and then we'll start in like 30 seconds or so. Okay. All right. Just waiting for a few seconds for everybody to join, but I think we can get started now. Hey, Bjorn. Okay. Thank you all for joining. I guess I'll get started. So, as a reminder, again, the talk is being recorded. Just keep that in mind. Please make use of the chat on the right. Introduce yourselves. Ask questions. I want the session to be as interactive as possible, and hopefully we can answer questions that anybody can have. Right. So I'll make pauses and moments to chat during the session, during the presentation. So I would like this to be an exchange, a moment of exchange, rather than just me presenting something. But the goal here is for me to do a rerun of the talk that I made at South by Southwest about a month ago. And without further ado, I'll just dive right in, right? So, okay, give me 1 second. Okay. All right. And for anyone, for the last ones who have just joined, thank you again for joining. You should be seeing my screen now. Great.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, everyone. Right, let's get started. So, again, thank you all for joining. The goal is, I have changed it very little. The goal is just to represent the the presentation that I made at South by Southwest. Without further ado, let's go. So first things first, if you want to talk on a one-by-one, after this, please just use this link. It's my open calendar. You can make, again, liberal use of booking a time. If you want to have a one-on-one chat afterwards, if you want to go into any more details, here's the link. I'll give this again in a second. As a bit of preamble, this talk is for producers and publishers and media brands. So some of you will be familiar with XR, and a lot of you will be familiar with XR, but actually the talk was made for general and mainstream content producers. So one of my pet peeves or hypothesis is that we in the XR industry have been actually very early over the last 10 years. And as a result, we've been aggregating a lot of experience. We've been gaining a lot of experience, and which tends to be slightly over-specialized. And I think that we are at a inflection point in the immersive market right now, where we have a new influx of people, of clients, brands, I'll get into this, and newcomers in general who are getting interested in the format. My point is that I think we should simplify the general message and try to reach the audience where they are, the audience being the new commissioners, new buyers of immersive in general, content producers. And I think we need to help them understand the technicalities of the formats and make it really simple for them as much as possible. So again, this talk is basically the arguments that I provide to the general content producers when they show an interest in VR immersive in general. I'm using the terms pretty loosely here. So if you are an expert at XR, you will probably not learn much. But again, this will maybe make you understand how I present the argument for VR to a general audience of content professionals. TLDR, if you have only 5 minutes here, basically this is my point, and this is what I will go into detail throughout the talk. But essentially, VR already has an audience. There's already a proven audience for VR. I'm using the term pretty loosely here, VR, AR, immersive in general. But I will show you some proof that there is an audience. There is a demonstrated audience, and immersive video is growing. And I think that immersive video is the next opportunity really for media brands in general, and for within the VR industry in general. So that's my point. That's my whole argument throughout the talk. I will just go into more detail about this. So if you have any other commitments and you need to leave right now, well, you can, because that's basically what I will go into more detail to explain this. So I just wanted to give you a heads up, basically. At South by, this is where I had a quick icebreaker. So maybe we can do this by chat. Basically, I just wanted to know who was new and experienced into VR, who came from the business side or more from the creative side, and who came from music or film or any other sector. Maybe you can use the chat here to introduce yourselves, and maybe if you have any questions or if there is anything that you'd like to know in particular or talk about, just please let me know in the chat, and we can address this, right? I'll take 1 minute to look at the chat. Mohammed has sent an email or a message. It's great. Okay, I'll let you guys, everyone, introduce yourselves in the chat, and I will just keep going. So this is the agenda. Simple. Basically, I'll just prove that the VR market is growing, and that there is a market and that it's growing. Second, I'll dive into what is immersive video specifically and why I think it's an opportunity. And finally, I'll give you some takeaways so that you can benefit from it and start working into the format, right? So that's the agenda, very simple. Okay, a little bit about us, about Acute. So who am I? And who is the company that I co-founded and work with at the moment. So Acute Immersive, essentially we're empowering immersive creators. That's our mantra. We started in San Francisco. I'm based in San Francisco. We started in 2024 with Anthony, my co-founder. The team has worked with Niantic and Tesla, for example. That's Anthony, my co-founder, and myself. I have had the chance to count Meta, Apple as clients and partners in formal roles, and a whole range of smaller companies across the immersive space. And right now, Acute is used by about 120 studios and creators as of April, as of today. I'll dive in more into what we can do, but essentially the goal is to create a platform that helps you create, sell, and share immersive videos. Okay, point one, the growing VR market. We all know this slide, essentially. That's from Gartner, the hype cycle. You can see that basically, I don't think, so to go back, sorry. In 2016, 2018, VR has had a lot of hype, as we all know, and then it sort of deflated. That went through around 2020, 2022. And now it's going up. Apple has launched a new headset. We can talk about the sales of the new headset, but essentially there's a number of signals across glasses and headsets in general. I'm just sort of merging them here, that basically head-mounted displays and head-mounted technologies are essentially on the up. And you can see that I haven't put the indicator you're here right up to the plateau of productivity. I think that we still have a bit to cover in terms of tooling, in terms of awareness for the market. Basically, we're not yet at a full productive market and industry, but we're definitely going there. I think that over the last 2 or 3 years, anyone who has been in the industry or following the industry knows or has seen that there's definitely a lot of activity and things are picking up again. So I think it's definitely an interesting time to pay attention to the technology and the format in general. And so that's just my subjective assessment of where we are right now. Now, for a more objective, snapshot. Right, this is an estimate of the size of the market currently. So if you want to have a quick view, again, this is a simplified view. I'm not trying to get into too much detail here, but essentially we have Meta with their MetaQuest line, they've been the first, to launch VR headsets really in 2019. Currently, we estimate about 40 million headsets across their product line that are available. Apple Vision, launched in 2024, has much fewer headsets. The price point is a lot higher, targeting probably more millennials. And the focus started with productivity, but actually has shifted with entertainment. If you go onto the Apple website for the Vision Pro, when they launched, actually productivity was the first use case they showed on their website. And currently it's now entertainment, because they have realized probably that people use the headset to actually watch content and watch shows, really. Google has launched a headset last year. It's probably selling very little, but I think they're just building the OS, right? And there's a new headset that has been announced by Steam. They have the monopoly on video game distribution. It should launch in 2026. Some rough estimation of a few millions of headsets might be sold by the end of the year, and targeting probably a younger audience, and again targeting for gaming. My hunch or my bet is that some of these users who buy the Steam frame will bleed into entertainment consumption after trying the headset for gaming. So what is my point with all this? We can, of course, go into more detail about the numbers and what platform is the best for whatever use case you have in mind. But essentially what I'm trying to prove here is that there are dozens of millions of headsets out there. It's not just a few millions, not a few 100,000s. There is actually a pretty healthy market that is out there, and people asking for content. So that's my whole point, or my whole takeaway from this slide, right? Quick check with everyone if everyone's okay, but I think so far so good. Again, some estimation of the progress, of the market. This is, we can talk about the methodology behind here, but this essentially here we're blending glasses and headsets, right? But we know that glasses in particular are very hot at the moment. I'm talking about AI glasses, started with X-Real, and then Google has announced their own. Apple is rumored to launch their own soon. At the moment, the first iteration of these will probably not have displays, so they'll probably just be capturing reality and not be rendering it with video or anything like that. But essentially, again, this is a bit hard to estimate, but we are pretty confident in our company that the category of head-mounted displays in general and head-mounted devices in general will take off, very much so in the coming years. And as we know, it has already. So these are, if you go up to 2025, these are known data point, and so it's definitely going up, is what I'm saying. So all I want to show with this, again, we could argue about the methodology, but essentially my whole point is that it's just going up. The install base of devices is growing. That's all I'm trying to say here. And if you want actual proof of this, this is a chart from SteamDB, which tracks installs from Steam, which is again a gaming website here, for VR chat. So VR chat is a social app. It can be used in VR and not in VR. And also, it can be used on Steam and not on Steam. So the absolute numbers here, 80K, for example, of concurrent users, do not represent the total number of users, but only the people who are accessing VR chat through Steam. And all I want to say with this is that it's growing. These are literally tracked data from a platform distributing, VR chat. And all I'm saying is that it's going up and to the right. So any rumor or any article, we've all seen that about VR dying and the market, sort of, not taking off. If you look at the data, it's just simply not true. The number of users and the number of young people, because they skew young, but the number of people who are consuming VR content is, in absolute terms, growing. Right. And as I said, VR really has started with gaming, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about gaming here, but what I want to say here is that it proved a daily habit. This funny picture is actually from a game called Gorilla Tag. If you're familiar with the VR industry, you will probably have heard of it. This is the biggest selling game in VR at the moment. And again, some numbers that are relatively old, June 24, over $100 million in total revenue, 120,000 players for its 5th year anniversary that was late last year in 25. 1 million VR users every day. They're all very young, Gen Alpha and Gen Z, and over 10 million in merch sales only. So my whole point with this, and we can, again, go into more the detail of the use case of Gorilla Tag and why it's particularly successful. It's very social. It has mechanics that play very well with its population, and the marketing is brilliant. But what I'm saying with this is that you can build a real business with VR and content production in VR in general. And also, my point about daily habit is pretty important in the sense that what we want to build is a habit for users to come back to content and to watch or experience immersive content in the headsets as much as possible. And I think that's one of the keys that has been missing about VR in general. At least that's what content producers need to keep in mind, I think, to build a daily habit with a steady cadence of content release. Moving on from gaming, I do think that immersive video is next, and I published last week a little snippet of me talking about this slide in particular. I think this is the most important slide in what I'm going to say, or at least it's a very important takeaway. So this picture is actually from an app that is available on the Vision Pro store called Explore POV. The app is made by a guy in New Zealand called James Hustler. This is one app. And essentially, it's virtual travel, right? So James has started the company and the app with very simple means. Essentially, he's traveling the world using a VR camera, a simple VR camera, and he's essentially shooting landscapes, very simple landscapes. These are still or very slow-moving videos, captures. These are tropical beaches, cities around the world, and sites, tourist sites. So it's essentially virtual tourism, and it's the #1 selling application on the Vision Pro App Store. It has over 100,000 downloads. It was awarded the App of the Year recognition by Apple last year in 2025. And again, This is just one person with a very small team of like one freelancer at the beginning. So zero marketing spend to grow this business, this app essentially. And James is doing pretty well at the moment. And so if you go back to my slide a few minutes ago, if we estimate that there is about 1 million, and this is a pretty generous estimate, that there's about 1 million Vision Pros available out there, that means that James has captured over 10%, more than 10% of the install base with just one app and zero marketing spend. So what I'm saying with this, and I'll go into more details about this, but essentially, as soon as there is immersive video being published, quality immersive video being published on the Vision Pro, and I think we can replicate this with MetaQuest and all the other platforms. Essentially, when you create quality content, people are really asking for it and are really happy to watch it, and they will download your apps and pay for your content as well. So that's my whole point, is that one, there is a market, and two, immersive video in particular is facing strong demand at the moment. Now, in my future slides, I'm going to dive into more detail about this, but for the moment, I just want to open the floor to a few questions if anyone has any. Right, I'll go into the chat here for a second. Hey, everyone. It's great that everybody's introducing each other, introducing yourselves, so that's great. If anybody has any question, just let me know now. You can unmute yourselves. And for those of you who have just joined, thank you all for joining. As a reminder, the session is being recorded. Please use the chat liberally to ask questions. I'm going to check it every now and then. The goal is for the presentation to be rather interactive, right? Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. Right, so I do think there's a viewer market, and now I'll talk more specifically about immersive video and what we can take away from the current state of media consumption in headsets. So again, this talk is supposed to be a pretty high level and pretty introductory to the technology and to the format. So if you are familiar with XR in general, you'll probably not learn much. But if you're not familiar, then hopefully this will serve as a guide into the format, right? So immersive video, if you have never tried it, this is essentially what it looks like. This is a pretty silly representation that I've made, but this is pretty much what it feels like. You're wearing a headset, you can be on your couch or whatever you want, and essentially have a very wide screen, looking in front of you, and we can talk about it, but essentially it's a 180 field of view, so it's almost surrounds you in front of you. It's very high definition, and it has 3D, so stereoscopic depth in front of you. Again, this is just a bit of a silly representation, but this is just to show you the feeling of what it is, right? More specifically, again, 8K resolution or 4K per eye, 90 frames per second, 180 field of view, so it's in front of you. I'm talking about immersive video specifically, and spatial audio. So the audio is spatialized around you. I love cinema. I'm a cinema geek. I grew up with cinema, and I'm afraid to say that this is, on a technical level, and I think on a creative level as well, way better than cinema. I think we've barely scratched the surface of what the format allows. And I'm personally very excited to see what creatives in general will come up with the format. I think it's very exciting to be in the field at the moment. And in particular, I just want to point out that these specs are very much future-proof, right? So if you look at the 4K TVs, all of us, when we stream content on our TVs, sure, most people are still not streaming 4K. So what I'm saying with that is those specs for immersive video will sustain, and you will be able to show and to sell your content for a number of years. We do expect that content that is being produced right now will be sustainable for a few decades at the very least. All right, to dive into a bit more detail. So production is now easy. If you have handled this camera, you might say differently, but if you have been in the XR space for a few years, myself, I've been making XR and immersive in general for over 12 years. I can tell you it's a lot easier than 10 years ago. So you can now buy this camera. It's called the Blackmagic Ursa Immersive. It's made by a manufacturer called Blackmagic. It launched last year. It was at $32,000, and it's just been discounted by by a few thousand. So it's the first time that you can really buy a camera and essentially run and gun, grab it, rent it, and shoot something pretty easily to make something that you can stream in the headset. So if any one of you has had experience with stitching or with GoPro rigs, this is a lot easier, and we think that this is a tool that will enable the production and a much wider production of immersive content for essentially this whole wave of new entrants to the technology. So I'm talking mainstream content producers, advertisers, music labels, sports, leagues and everything. We are already seeing that they're using this camera. It's a lot easy, and basically you can use the existing teams and video production pipelines. You can basically use your sound stages, reconvert them very quickly, and essentially create immersive content for the headsets very easily compared to a few years ago. Right. This is the camera in the field. Again, this is a still that I stole from Blackmagic. It's just to show that it's pretty easy to use. There are apps. There's a whole ecosystem around it that you can use to use the camera and to shoot content with. So all I'm saying with this is that if you are looking to make immersive content, it's now pretty easy. You can get this camera or rent it, or connect with someone who has bought it. Essentially, you have a number of production companies now around the world who have bought it, and essentially you can now produce content very easily with it, and you can now distribute these videos inside the headsets. Another thing to note, we do expect a UGC, so user-generated content wave to come as well. So if you look on these are images from Apple. If you look on the left, this woman is essentially capturing a video with her iPhone, and then she's watching it inside her headset. So it's the same video in 3D, so with a depth effect. So these are called spatial videos, not immersive videos. But spatial videos are essentially a rectangular frame in front of you. There's a sort of blurry, fuzzy effect, feathering effect on the sides. To sort of make them easy to watch. But essentially you have this depth effect because the iPhone can reproduce your two eyes, essentially. So you can see these people on the beach with a sense of presence that you wouldn't have with regular videos. So these are very easy to make. You can make spatial videos with any iPhone starting from the iPhone 16. And so we see a lot more consumers that are starting to create videos with in this format. And if you want more immersive content with, that are fully surrounding you, then you can use the Blackmagic camera. So to summarize, I'm not going to in detail about all of this. This is information taken from an Apple presentation. You can go in detail about it, but essentially what I'm saying is that there's a number of formats. All of these can be seen inside the headset. And they all have different, characteristics and everything. I just want to simplify things and say that you can use the Blackmagic camera if you want some wide field of view content, and it's pretty easy to make. Again, you can have one person essentially creating content for you, or you can use the iPhone to create content on the left side of the screen to go a lot faster. Right, as a takeaway, this is a bit bold, but all I want you to remember here is that immersive video in general is engaging. People are uniquely engaged with it, with the content. Once they have bought the headset, they are seeking content, and reality is uniquely compelling as opposed to 3D content. When you capture, a movie star or a music artist with one of those cameras, essentially you have a unique relationship and a sense of presence you can get from watching them in the headset, and it's really compelling. And people do watch the content once it's available in the headset. This content is easy to make as well, and it also will be cross-platform. This is one key thing that I want to emphasize as well. Once you make content with even the iPhone or the Blackmagic camera, you can distribute it on all the headsets and the future headsets. The pipelines are coming, the tools are coming. We are literally building a platform that allows you to stream on all the headset if so you want. And I'm saying this because as opposed to 3D, when you make 3D content, like game content or build it with Unity or Unreal, essentially you have to port and adapt things for every platform, for every headset. That's not the case with immersive video. There's a little bit of tweaks to make, but it's a lot easier to produce. And now you can create high quality content that is very easy to make, and again, that you can distribute widely. So I do think that we are at an inflection point in the market, and it's a lot easier to make content again. I think I've said it enough times. I think you're getting my point. So this is what we expect to see in the coming years, really. We expect to see a lot more remote tourism is number one use case. People want to travel with headsets. It's a lot easier than booking a plane ticket. So we expect a lot of this to come. Outside experiences and sports in general, it's extremely impressive to be sitting, right on the court and watch NBA games. You can watch NBA games right now in the Vision Pros. In the Vision Pro, it's really impressive. So we expect to see a lot more of this. Front row concert again. I'll dive into a specific example of here, but essentially you have a sense of proximity with the artist that is just impossible to have even in reality. No amount of money can buy what the headset can afford. So it's the next best thing compared to being present, and we do think that we'll see a lot more content like this coming up, and we are already seeing it at Acute, more and more content like this being produced. So I'll go into the detail of one use case, one example, one project here very specifically. Again, this is made by Apple. We have not been involved at all with this, but I just want to use the example to educate, hopefully, if you're new to the format, and to tell you a bit more about the shows that are available and what you can create with this. So again, I'm trying to be relatively high level here. So if you are an XR professional, you'll probably know a lot of this. But if you're new to the format, hopefully you'll get a glimpse of what is possible, right? So last year, Apple released a Metallica concert in the Vision Pro. So I just want to play here. So presenting with Google Meet. Hopefully this will work. I don't know if you can see. All right, so I have a fallback, but I don't think you can see my screen right now. So I'll move on to the next slide. These are captures from the trailer that I was about to show you. And essentially, so these are stills from the experience. In the headset, it's in color, right? This is black and white, but this is just Apple has stylized the trailer to sort of make it a bit dramatic or something. But inside the headset, that's essentially what it looks like. You have a number of wide shots, and you're following, the lead, the band, and mainly the lead singer actually. And this shot is got a bit famous because it's very impressive. You're going backstage, and then you're following him to front stage, and you're literally following a rock star inside the headset, and it's honestly very impressive. So this is Metallica, so of course it's pretty crazy and high intensity. Again, inside the headset, it's in color, but essentially you're on stage right next to the band. Again, it being heavy metal, mayhem ensues, a lot of fireworks and gimmicks on stage and everything, but it's pretty good fun and very high octane concert. This is what you see in the headset. You're literally right next to the guitarists and the band. The first time I've seen the video dozens of times because there's not much else to watch actually, and you can actually read the little text that is on his guitar. Like he has like little fun jokes or something written on his guitar, and you can actually read it. You are on stage next to a rock star. It's a very impressive experience, and I think once you have tried it, it's becomes pretty obvious that more and more of this content will be made available, in the very near future. So why am I talking about this project specifically? Well, because I want to talk about the windfall, the concept, the press and the results of this project. So, of course, Apple has a lot of reach, but essentially, a lot of press and a lot of articles have picked up on the project and gained a lot of headlines. But more importantly than this, I think these are a tiny portion of the quotes from Reddit and all other social networks that you can think of. Basically, everybody is amazed by the technology and by the format, and everybody loves it. So this just feeds into my point that when you release good content and good videos inside the headset, people are really happy to watch it and they want more. I can identify with this front quote comment here. I didn't particularly know of Metallica actually before watching the show. I didn't grow up. It's not my generation. I didn't grow up with them. I didn't know their songs or anything. After watching the show, and I've watched it, it's a 20-minute video. I've watched it again dozens of times, and it's really impressive. And since then, I've looked at the bio of the singers of the band. I've looked at their history. I know, who they are. I can place them mentally. And I would certainly consider going into a concert with them because it's pretty impressive. I know that they can put on a good show, so it's really cool. So again, my whole point here is that VR, immersive in general, will be, and it's pretty obvious that will become a channel, a marketing or distribution channel for artists and for entertainment and show business in general, where you will be able to deliver and distribute your events, shows, music, sports, you name it, into the headset. It's pretty obvious once you've tried it. So to give you a few more examples, and I'm slightly aware of time, just checking on the chat. And okay, people could see the YouTube video. Okay, well, moving on, but thank you. And if you have any questions, again, please go into the chat. We're almost done, but essentially some brands have already been making VR content. So you have Red Bull, you have Porsche, Gucci, Time Magazine has been investing in the format as well as the documentary. There's a range of formats here. It's not only immersive video, but I just want to say that brands are definitely paying attention to this. So again, my point here is that if you are a buyer or a commissioner or a media executive in general, you're not alone looking at this. A number of brands are looking at the format and essentially investing into the headset. This brings me to my last section of the session. How can you benefit from this new format? Right. So there'll be a number of takeaways here, and you can cherry pick them. And I'm just here to give you pointers, and hopefully you can take it away and start making projects. But the first thing to do is probably to connect with the industry. We as a platform, and I'll dive a bit more into what we do Acute as a platform, but essentially we're in touch with a number of people. There's a range of companies here, from manufacturers to festivals and events and producers. Some people in the audience, you may recognize your logos here, but essentially please connect with me or anyone else, but there are a number of other directories that are online. So first, you can connect with a producer and someone who knows about the format and can help you produce content if you're interested in it. I'm very happy to make some introductions and help you navigate, the industry. But essentially, first things first is to connect with someone who knows about the the format if you're interested in moving forward with the project, right? Then you can set up your workflow, and this is where maybe we can help as Acute. So Acute is essentially a streaming platform, a distribution platform. We do a number of things, but basically one of the things that you can do is when you have immersive video footage captured either with the iPhone or with the Blackmagic camera, you can essentially upload it. This is what it looks like. And you can go to acuteimmersive.com and you can essentially upload it and then distribute it privately or publicly to your app or our app to essentially review it with your team or with your partners and validate it, and then you can publish it. I'll talk about this. I know this can sound like a bit of a plug, but actually not. I mean, yes, of course, but what I just want to say here is that we're a small startup. I'm just trying to figure out how I can help producers on the production side, but also brands and everyone else who are interested, anyone who is interested in the format, to help them figure out how to make content and how to make money, of course, but essentially how to publish videos and immersive content and apps in general. So we're trying to build the tools and trying to identify the tools that are needed. So we built this platform because basically it did not exist. And there was no way only a few months ago for producers of video content to simply share it privately with their clients or their partners, or just to review their videos easily into the headset. So we're building the platform. It's available now. It's for free. If you have any other ideas or any other needs, we welcome any suggestion, of course. We want to build tools that empower the people who are making immersive video and immersive content in general to make a sustainable business out of it. So again, if you have any other ideas, please share them. One of the things that we suggest and that we recommend at the moment, if you have immersive content or if you want to make content for the headset, is to launch your own app. And because essentially this is the way that Apple and the other manufacturers, primarily Apple, the app is the core unit of the App Store and of their business. So essentially one app, you can distribute it, you can link to it, you can sell it, you can discount it. But if you have a brand, we recommend for you to make your own app and essentially to distribute your own content through your own app. So if you want to make immersive content, then it will be a two-step process. You can make videos with the camera, and then you can make an app and distribute your videos through the app. This is what we recommend because Apple has been known to push and to recommend on their App Store well-made apps if there is some good content in it. And essentially they will appreciate, brands or anyone else with their own identity or IP to make their own app and then to push it onto the store. So this is what we recommend essentially. We can help you. Of course, the takeaway here is that we can make apps for you. These are two apps that we're launching that we have made. On the left, again, this is just to give you also some examples and some ideas of what you may be able to make within the format, right? So on the left is Primary, which is a news app that we made for our client. The company itself is called Primary. It launched in January of this year, and essentially they have a network of journalists around the world with iPhones, and they're shooting in spatial video, and essentially they're reporting on current affairs and events around the world in spatial video. And I recommend you check it out if you have a Vision Pro. It's really striking how much more engaging events and shots that we all see on a day-to-day on TV, when you sit in the headset with the depth effect, it's really impressive how much more memorable and striking it can be. And on the right side is Blue Frog Immersive, where the app is launching. I'm talking about it publicly now, but we have been working on it for the last few months for our client, Blue Frog, and they're a music venue based in Canada, actually, and they're launching their own app. The app is available on test flight right now, and it will be available publicly at the end of the month. And essentially, they're capturing concerts, so they are in the rock and roll, blues, jazz, and country genre, but they're expanding on a number of genres as well. And essentially, they're capturing live shows with the Blackmagic camera. So it's 180 degrees field of view. It's really impressive. And the app is available on test flight. You can download it today. Contact me if you want to try it. And they will be looking for venues around the world, and at least around the United States, to capture more content in the format so that they can distribute through the Blue Frog app. So what we're saying is that, again, this is an illustration of some examples of some apps that you can make across a number of genres. News, music, you might have your own idea. Please be in touch if you want to talk about anything, right? All right. One last thing to take away is you can publish your own videos if you're a studio, if you're making, or if you're learning how to make and starting to make immersive content. Acute has its own app on the Vision Pro store. We see it more as a utility and not as a distribution channel for consumers. So what I mean by that is it's more of a tool for professionals, right? So if you have a show reel or any kind of content that you want to show as a studio, for example, you can upload it to the Acute platform, and then you can publish it onto the Acute app. And what we would like to be is to be a bit of the place where professionals meet and gather and show their latest work, and everybody can learn from each other, right? So we want to foster a sense of community. So on one end, if you want to show your work, please push it on Acute. It's completely free. We're not charging anyone for this. And if you're looking for crew and people to make your own videos, then you can also go to Acute, download the Acute app, and I can share a link in the chat, and you will see the show reels of the studios. And so then you will be able to contact them directly if you want. So essentially, we try to be a bit of a matchmaker. We can be more involved. If you have any question, if you're looking for someone in particular, we can help you get in touch with anyone. We're very happy to make introductions, but the Acute app is a good first step for you to have a look at what people make, right? And then finally, what we're trying to build with Acute is essentially one platform. It's a one-stop shop where you can distribute your videos to a number of apps. So again, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please let us know. But essentially, it's one platform. You upload your videos, and then you can select which apps you can distribute them to. So the long-term vision is to be a sort of a marketplace. So you'll be able to sell your own videos, essentially to submit, and it'll be like an auction system, a bit like a for advertising and real-time bidding. So this is a bit down the line, but we can already do, we can help facilitate transactions like this, for example. So if you have an app and you're looking to monetize it with advertising, for example, then we can help you find brands who may want to make a video, but without their own app, and then we can help the brand publish the video to your own app. So essentially, I think you get the point that we can help you find either content or a team to essentially produce and distribute your project. And you can also our platform helps you to monetize your content if you need. We have a full analytics suite, so you can you can track who watches your videos. What is the attention curve, when people drop off? Is it the 30-second mark or 2 minutes mark? So you can, just like YouTube or any other streaming platform, you have a number of tools, and we're building them every day to help you understand who is watching your videos and hopefully to understand why. So this is what we do. Very happy to field any question and to answer any question about what, how we can help maybe. Again, the whole goal of this session was to give you a primer on immersive video and how to get started making content in the format, right? One last thing, I do want to announce it. So we have been, I'll make a public announcement about it in a few weeks, but essentially we have been involved with a team based out of LA. So Tristan Scenic is this film director, and he's been developing this project called Desert Palms, which won, I'm very happy to say that it won the Venice Biennale in Italy production grant. So there's a yearly production grant in Venice, made for immersive videos, for immersive content in general. And Tristan, with his movie, has won this grant. So essentially, we'll be shooting over the summer. We want to make a textbook case, essentially, so sort of a case study of this project. So we'll be documenting a lot of the production and the distribution as well, so that everybody can learn about it. But what I want to, and Acute is the official representative of the project, so we're essentially selling the content if one wants to buy it and show them on their own platform. So this is an immersive movie. It's a comedy. It's about 20 minutes long. It's going to be very fun. And I just want to say this to illustrate again that I am very happy to make introductions or to help you develop your concept. It can be formally, and we can enter an agreement if you want, but it can also be informally. We know at Acute a number of people across the industry, and I do this every day. I'm just very happy to make some introductions to anyone. If you're looking for help or guidance, I just want to see more content in the headset. And if you're looking for help, I'm just very happy to provide it. So that's about it for what I have. If you want to contact me or us in general, there's this link, acuteimmersive.com/meet. Again, this is a direct link to my calendar. You can literally book a call for tomorrow and we'll chat. Here's my direct email as well. So that's about all I have for now. I'm going to stop presenting and I'm going to go back to the chat and answer any question if anybody has it. All right, here you go. So I'm going to go back. Thank you all for your attention. Hey, Sam, thank you. So Sam, who's in the audience, Sam was our first client, and he's the executive producer at Primary. Here you go. Hey, Sam. Sam is based out of New York, and he's running the Primary app. Yeah, he sent. So if anyone has any questions, please just unmute yourselves, ask in the chat, or manifest yourself one way or another. I hoped you liked the, is Acute Immersive only available in Vision Pro? Yes, for the moment it is. But we are planning to be cross-platform across the MetaQuest and Pico and others. It's just that these are non-trivial engineering projects. And so we're just waiting for the right project. Essentially, if you have a project and you want to distribute your content onto all the headsets and you have the budget for it, then we can help you for sure. Tom from the Spatialist, Tom has produced a series of very beautiful videos that I encourage everyone to check out. It's called Sessions on the Vision Pro store. Okay, I'm just waiting. And if anyone has any question, please share them in the chat. Gosh, that hour flew by very quickly. Thank you, Jacqueline. Yay. Merci, Alexandre. Again, please be in touch. If you have any question, I'm going to drop my email here again. Any good tips for staying in the know for content release? Now, that's very interesting. We're actually working on a mobile app at the moment, so I'm just sort of disclosing a little bit here, but we're working on notifications that are available today, actually. And Sam, we need to talk about this, but essentially, we want to have a companion mobile app on the iPhone, because we think that this will be a good relay for people to go back to the headsets. Essentially, we want this to be a full ecosystem, and essentially, people buy the headset, and as you said, Manjit, they need to know when there is new content. So we will be launching a mobile app. Notifications inside the headset are already available today, but over the summer, we'll be launching a mobile app, and essentially, people will be able to follow new content and so they'll know when they can put on the headset. But right now, Manjit, if you want to, there's a number of like newsletters and things online that you can follow for new content. I'm very happy to point you to some if you want. I feel like I'm talking a lot, so please, if anyone has any questions, just raise your hand.
Yeah, hi Paul. Thanks for replying to my question. I mean, again, like I have an Apple Vision Pro. I like the device, but just looking for content. I mean, I see a few apps that have just got the same still content, and also I see it's interesting how some videos are appearing on multiple platforms at the same time, which is fine. But it's just like you know, having a good source of information. Like obviously, Apple has their Apple Vision Pro app, which I haven't actually launched recently. But I am definitely, and I think a lot of people would agree. Like, yeah, we want to know where the good content is coming and stay in the loop.
That's very interesting. Thank you for saying that. Would others agree with this as well, that it's difficult to track? There's a number of Reddit channels and everything, but we would, so yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you for pointing it out, because we are thinking of building an app, actually, that a mobile app that would track all the content, and then you can just like favorite it, and then so you can then watch it inside the headset. Sam, you put on your video. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just curious where people, when they do find out about new content, where they find out. Because I personally don't really go on Reddit, but LinkedIn has been for the past year or two where I find all my news related to this stuff. So I'm just curious where other folks are finding out.
If anyone's want to chime in, there is one newsletter called This Week in Immersive, or This Week in Spatial. Someone online who's just like reposting essentially all the LinkedIn posts and news article about some developments around Apple Vision Pro in general, and that's a good one. We are trying to keep track as well. I mean, that's interesting. That means that there is a need for an aggregator of news content. There's a number. I've seen a number of websites. I can maybe I'll look more into it, and I'll follow up sending an email to everyone here about what I found. So if you have any suggestions, just like share them here, and then we can disseminate to everybody. If anyone has any other last questions, I'm just aware of time. We have a couple of minutes left. Thank you all for attending. I hope the week is off to a good start. NAB in Vegas is happening at the moment, so I know there are a number of news. It's a video tech show happening in Vegas every year, and there's a number of news around immersive video specifically, so you can keep posted around this. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Bjorn Morten. Yay, LinkedIn. Okay. Please post your email addresses or anything if you want to introduce yourself in the chat. I'm going to cut it in about a minute. But thank you all. Again, any question, just please be in touch. I hope this was informative. I'll try to update this about every year or something, so that we can have like a snapshot of the immersive market. And so hopefully next year we'll have more numbers to share, more detailed, analytics basically, and we can prove that, one, there is a market, then two, it's growing, because right now we're using sources from other content, but I want to be able to show it firsthand that people are watching. So, okay, thank you, everyone. All right, I'm going to stop this here, and I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you very much for attending, and have a great day. And keep up the good work. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay, I need to stop recording first.